Are you ready, Chiefs Kingdom?
We're celebrating the legendary career of Dustin Colquitt. Think record punts and epic pranks.
We're also diving into OTA buzz with Rashee Rice. Is he back from injury at full force? Also, Nazeeh Johnson, will he make the team? And last but not least, Mahomes hooking up with Worthy on the deep ball.
Plus, a huge win for charity here in Kansas City, thanks to Big Slick KC. Let's dive in.
From the heart of Kansas City, we bring Buck and Bob take on Chiefs Kingdom. I'm Bob.
I'm Buck. We're not fancy analysts,
but we have just as many bad takes.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, Buck?
Not much. I decided that, that intro, I shouldn't have ended it that way. after I heard it live the first time, I was like, I don't know. And then I just heard it for the second time, and now I'm pretty sure I've done it that way. Live and learn.
Well, hey, you told me to put it in, so
I know,
put it in, man.
I thought it would be cool, but I was wrong.
I was like, you sure you want me to put that in? Like, yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yep. You're like, yeah.
Yep. That's exactly the phrase I used.
Yep. Well, hopefully this week I can behave and not act like a Neanderthal. So that will be, so hopefully we can end the episode correctly without having to cut out my horrible, I'm ashamed of it. I'm sorry to anybody who was in the audience. I'm sorry to anybody who saw it. I cut it out as fast as I could, but hey, man, you live and you learn. You screw up, and you just try to be better the next time, you know?
So this one will be better.
Yeah, let's hope so. Oh, man. So
you're welcome.
Do you have anything cool happen this week? Anything neat outside of Chiefs Kingdom or anything you want to throw in here at the start?
I mean, we had a company picnic. It was supposed to be a family company picnic, but it just happened to fall on the same day as my ex's family picnic. And, Nora had to pick, my 5-year-old daughter had to pick between her cousins, who she loves dearly, or these other kids that she's never met before. So it was an easy one. I went to the picnic myself, but it was fun. It had a really good time. It was a little windy, but the weather was beautiful.
Awesome.
Had some good burgers.
Got some people in the chat. Brian Parrott, what's up? Thank you for joining us.
What's up, Brian?
All right. So yeah, we've got some stuff to talk about. We're gonna talk about it, but we all, like, on this show as a community podcast, we're always willing to throw in questions in the middle of what we're talking about. So we might not feel them immediately when they come in, but we will mark them and then we will talk about them. So
if we're in the middle of talking about something and you've got a question about something else, put a couple of question marks before the question, and that'll alert us to mark it so that we don't miss it.
Perfect. Yep.
Please.
All right. Well, the first on the docket is, well, it was our MVP for so many years, Dustin Colquitt.
Do
you remember those sad dark ages? The dark days.
If your kicker is the MVP, man, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a big problem.
And we had problems.
We did.
We had problems. But yeah, Dustin Colquitt, man, he changed the face of the NFL punting wise. I mean, it used to be, before Dustin, it was kicks inside the 20 was the big stat, but Dustin changed it to kicks inside the 10. I mean, it was unbelievable what he was able to do in his career.
Yeah, and you had to love his attitude. He was always a happy, smiling guy. You want to see that kind of guy get the proper end that he deserved, because he spent so many of his best years with this team, and then he moved on to it was 5 or 6 other teams in 2 years. But then he gets to come back, retire, and did he? So I know
he's never left here. He's never moved from here either. His family is still here. He loves KC.
So he did an honorary punt, right? Did you see
Yep.
this? Okay.
Yep.
So did he do that before the actual physical retirement so that it was still a punt while he was an active Chief?
I don't
I wonder.
know. I don't know when he signed the papers, but I know it was at the end of the day. He put that punt there in the thing.
But he also they did the same thing with Jamal Charles too. I remember they did one like honorary handoff. I mean, he wasn't even in pads or uniform or anything. Was Colquitt that would left? No, that was Aguiar.
I think that was Tommy Townsend.
It might have been him too. But remember Louis Aguilar from back in like the Dante Hall days? He had the left kick, the left-footed kick, and the spin just absolutely confused the rest of the NFL. It was great. We had so many muffed punts from him.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure it was known. Oh, he was left-footed, so Tommy Townsend wasn't.
Who else was?
Oh, I'm thinking Tommy Townsend wasn't.
But Colquitt was left-footed?
Yeah, he was.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. Okay, so that was what I was remembering Colquitt. Thank you, Brian, for bringing that up. Yeah, that's there's a lot of punt returners that talked about that. In my head, I remembered it as them talking about Tommy Townsend, but they were sorry, Brian's comment.
They were Sky Mooring punts before Sky Moore created the Sky Moore punts. Now that we have a proper name for it,
but yeah,
we should petition that to the NFL. Just get everybody to use that.
I remember players now. You know, I thought it was Tommy Townsend in my head, but I remember players talking about how it spins in opposite direction and it's really weird to catch, which is funny because I've always thought about left-handed quarterbacks and why we don't see a lot of them, because they would spin it in the opposite direction too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, wasn't Michael Vick? Michael Vick was a left-handed quarterback.
Oh, is Ariza left-footed too? I didn't know that. HD Chiefs fan just popped in here. Why does it say he's a former NFL punter? Isn't he our punter right now?
I thought so.
Yeah. Thanks, Google search AI.
I've tried this.
Matt Ariza, a former NFL punter, is left-footed. He's known for being. Okay, I did not know Ariza was left-footed, but yeah, a lot of players I remember during Colquitt's time now. A lot of players from other teams talking about how challenging it was, and we did see a lot of muffed punts because of that.
Well, Colquitt was also part of a family legacy. His father was a punter, and
yep. What was his brother's name? His brother played for the Broncos.
Yeah, he also played for the Browns, I think, for a while too. It wasn't Dustin. I know that. I don't remember his first name. Colquitt.
Yep. Matt Colquitt or Brian Colquitt?
That's weird. I was just about to say Brian. That's crazy.
Britton Colquitt.
Britton.
Yep, Britton.
So Brian was close. Starts with the first three letters.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So it's it's correct right there, right?
It's correct-ish.
Yeah. That's crazy. Why did I have it in my head that Tommy Townsend was the left-footed one? Because I heard about it for years.
Brian, this is from out of left field. The Earth is right-footed. It screws with the Coriolis effect. I love it. Yeah, absolutely love it.
Yep. Okay. And I think he's referring to like being below or above the equator and the toilet bowls spinning in opposite direction. Just a heads up, that is a myth.
I was gonna say I'm pretty sure that's a myth. And Brian, I'm pretty sure he's trolling right now. This is awesome. Yeah.
All three.
Really? Did Britton get one with Denver?
Oh, you should read that out for anybody audio-wise.
HD Chiefs fan said, if I remember correctly, all three Colquitts have Super Bowl rings. That's a really cool stat.
I'm trying to confirm it. His father Craig won 2 Super Bowl rings playing with Pittsburgh. His older this it's searching what's his name. His older brother Dustin spent 15 seasons as a punter for the Kansas City Chiefs and won a Super Bowl ring after the Chiefs' victory in Super Bowl 54. His cousin Jimmy punted at Tennessee, but did Britton Colquitt win a Super Bowl ring? That's what I need to know.
Well, his cousin Jimmy didn't win a Super Bowl ring at Tennessee.
Britton Colquitt Super Bowl. Yeah. He
With
did.
Denver?
He won with the Broncos. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Thank you for the
good trivia right there.
Trivia right there. Yeah.
Uh-huh. I'm gonna store that one away for my next sports trivia night.
That is cool.
Is
cool.
I don't ever do.
Well,
but if I do, that
on top of Colquitt's legendary career, it sounds like the dude was fun to hang with. I've got a little clip here from Dave Tobe talking about the practical jokester that Colquitt was. And
is this the story you were telling me about?
Yeah, and after hearing this, I just wish I could hang out. I would love to just hang out with Colquitt. Like it would just be, have a beer. And he still lives in Kansas City. He's probably part of the Chiefs legends. This might be possible at some point. So we have to make this happen. But let's hear what Tobe had to say. And I don't know, the Chiefs didn't publish this one on their site. This is still not published on the Chiefs YouTube. So I don't know that they really wanted this one out there, but I'm going to go ahead and add it to the stage and we're going to watch it because it is on YouTube. Thanks. And credit to Chiefs Digest. Thank you so much for the footage.
Oh, I got a lot of practical joke stories, but a lot of them I can't tell.
I'll tell one.
Jeez. Yeah, you're putting me on the spot. Well, the one that I wasn't even here for, but I heard about it. It was the mountain lion story that he made up. That there was a mountain lion that lived over here, right behind the facility, and he had pictures of a mountain lion, on a trail cam. It wasn't his trail cam, but he has trail cams back there. He goes, look, it was there, and the guys would be, talking about it all the time, coming from their cars. But that's just one thing. That's the clean one. That's the clean one. He's got a lot of. He used to mess with. I'll give you one more because he
was itching to give this.
Schaefer and the guys that check the rooms, at night. So 3 guys, 3 of it was Suck Up, him, and I can't remember who else, but they all stripped down naked in the room, and they laid their beds out, and they're all laying in there naked watching Brokeback Mountain real loud. So when the guy comes in to check, I mean that's what was going on. But that's clean.
That's clean.
But that was him. He was funny, and miss him. Great guy. It was a nice day for him to come back and retire as a Chief.
Yep.
That's awesome. I feel like he had some good ones.
Yep, he had to be fun to hang out with. And dude, that one's hilarious. Now the best is, if he's doing that practical joke now where he's watching Brokeback Mountain, you can just see a new rookie's coming in. He's like, yay!
You guys love that movie too?
Dustin's like, whoa, practical joke, just a joke. Nope.
Turns around, walks away crying.
Oh man,
awesome.
And then, dude, the mountain lion one is pretty great too. Like,
I love that.
And I bet he was the type of guy. Yeah, he's got to be the type of guy. And you don't do it as much now in your older age, but you were really good at straight face BSing and doing practical jokes. Now I think you feel bad, so you don't do it to people as much.
It's too easy sometimes, man. Because especially people that don't know you, you can say the dumbest shit, and people will just really to the point where it's just not fun anymore. So I still do it to my family all the time. My kids, oh my poor kids. Lexi, my oldest, she's 22. She is so gullible. I can get her to believe just about anything to the point where it's just not fun anymore. But
I just thought about, oh my gosh, I just took it wrong pipe, because while you were talking, I was thinking about you and your brother and us playing online games years back. And your brother had been drinking a little bit, and your brother was like, "Hey, I'm having problems with my mic. Can you guys hear me?" And you're like, "No." He's like, "Shit. All right, hold on. How about now? Can you hear me now?" "Nope, still can't hear you." "Crap. All right. And it went on for like 6 times, and finally goes,
wait,
"You can hear me because you're answering." Oh my god! But yeah,
and
dude,
then he did that. Remember, he did that forever after that. Just
Mhm.
he's good at acting. He's good at playing.
Yeah, it might have been a bit he was doing on us. I don't even know. Like because if it was, he did it great. But yeah, I guarantee Colquitt could tell people, dude, there's a mountain lion back there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Can't
Kids
get away
went
with it, yeah.
missing the other day, and just walk away and not even tell him he's joking, like that could definitely be a thing. So
Brian Paradise, didn't he put the electric cricket in Mahomes' room a couple years back? No, I believe that was Eric Stone Street from what's that TV show that he did where he was gay and married to the guy, Family.
Stone Street, yeah.
He's from Kansas City.
Yeah, he was on the I went and saw the live New Heights podcast when the Kelseys came here two days prior to the draft. It was in Kansas City. I got to go to that, and he was on that episode.
Modern Family. There you go. Yep.
Thank you, HD Chiefs fan.
Yeah, but he's freaking hilarious. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was him.
Yep, man. Dustin Colquitt, he was just, what's crazy is he lasted through so many regime changes.
Well, when you're the MVP, why would they want to get rid of you?
Well, and he even changed Lamar Hunt's mind one time. So I was, I think it was on KCSN. They had Colquitt, I think, come on, and hold on, I've got a little problem here. Okay, do not disturb is on. I don't know why that just made a noise, but hopefully it doesn't come through on the stream. But
I didn't hear anything.
So Dustin interviewed Clark Hunt, and he did it on KCSN. It was, I don't know, 6 months to 8 months ago or something like that. But I remember a story that he told Clark that Clark had never heard. It was when Dustin first started. They had a new, like, they just put a new roof or something on the practice facility, and Dustin was hitting the roof with his punts, and Lamar comes over to him and goes, "Hey, don't do that. We paid a lot for that. Don't hit the top of the roof. We don't need to repair stuff there." And then Dustin was like, "Oh, sorry. Yep, won't happen again." And then then Lamar walked off. I'm not doing this story justice because I heard it like 8 months ago. But then he comes back and he's like, "Actually, why are you doing that?" And then Dustin gave an explanation for how it would help him in he's trying to barely hit the roof, so he's trying to gauge his height or something.
Yeah, it helps.
And then Lamar goes, "All right, actually, you do what you got to do. You do what you got to do to be better." And Dustin was like, Okay. He was like, I think it was his rookie year or his second year, but yeah, he said he told Clark that story, and it looked like Clark was pretty tickled, but
That's really interesting but it makes total sense. I mean, when you can hit that ceiling, then you can really start to gauge by how hard you hit the ceiling, what to put into it on your kick.
yep.
Freaking brilliant.
Yeah, he only did it during the times they couldn't practice outside because of weather and things of that nature. But it was just an interesting story that we got from him. So that was cool. What do we got here?
HD Chiefs fan says Randy Reed, Andy's brother that sells jet skis.
Oh man, all right. Well, dude, I don't even know what to say. I feel like I should have made a tribute video to him. Maybe we will do, 1 week
This
when
week?
we do our
when we don't have any news. The
yeah,
problem
when we
is
do,
we're heading into a season, so the likelihood that there's no news this week is dwindling every single week.
well, we will have a lull here for a few weeks, definitely a few weeks after OTAs are over. Then we got a few weeks, before minicamp starts and minicamp and then training camp. But we're gonna have a little bit of a lull coming up, so we might be able to. But we have to do Tamba first. So yeah, so
Tamba first.
But he definitely deserves a video. Probably, maybe one of the only punters that has ever deserved it. Do you think he'll go to the Hall of Fame?
I mean,
do they send punters to the Hall of Fame?
Last time they sent a punter,
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure there's punters in Hall of Fame.
Is there? I don't even know. The only punter ever inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame is Ray Guy. He was enshrined in 2014, becoming the first punter to be inducted. Guy is widely considered to be the greatest punter in NFL history. Well,
I would hope if he's the only one in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he was big before I was born, so that's why I don't know him. But I mean, Dustin Colquitt, 15-year career. Guy played 14-year career. I mean, Dustin could definitely be one. I don't know if he'd be a first ballot, but he could definitely make it in. I wonder what ballot Guy made it in on, because there's no way he was a first ballot Hall of Famer.
No, not
he got
in
it in 2014.
Well, unless that was the first time that they put him on the ballot.
Maybe.
HD Chiefs fan said Jan Stederud is in the Hall of Fame, but he's a field goal kicker, right? Nick Lowry, Brian Parrish said Nick Lowry. Yeah, he's also a field goal kicker.
Yeah, we're talking
both
punters.
Chiefs. Both Chiefs.
According to
HD Chiefs fan thinks that there's 3 punters.
I think there's 3, really. According to this, there is only 1.
Are you looking at the Google AI?
Yeah.
I have not liked Google AI
but
so much.
NFL.com, November 3rd, 2022, article written, Guy, the only punter ever enshrined in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, died Thursday. Oh, sad. Okay, well, yeah. So as far as at 2022, he is the only one. So unless there was one inducted in the last couple of years.
No, he said HC Chiefs fan, I think, was looking it up at the same time.
Yeah, there's definitely kickers, but to get it as a punter, it's got to be hard. But I think Dustin has a chance, right?
In honor of Johnny B. Everybody needs a kicker.
Good old Johnny B.
He drafted a kicker in the first round.
That's your favorite Johnny B quote. My favorite is, "Eat his lunch, Jared Allen." Every time Jared Allen would get a sack, "Eat his lunch, Jared Allen."
Here, you go here. You go here.
that one we can't explain.
Yeah, that's a long one.
That's too hard to explain. But yeah,
but it's very Johnny B.
He has a lot of great one-liners in our Madden league.
Yeah,
he was like, the JFL. You don't know who the to play with next week.
That was his best one, man. That was so funny. The JJFL. Oh my
Oh
god.
man. So my bleep button is working because I can't
Yeah,
hear
it
it.
is. Yeah.
Okay, good deal. Okay, good deal. All right.
I wouldn't trust myself with the bleep button.
Well, I don't even actually say the word because I
Yeah.
don't know.
Oh, okay.
I say bleep. I don't know. We've gotten so hosed on anytime I dropped an F-bomb, and I don't drop them a lot. Like it'd be like one and no views. Then I cut it out, and they just start coming in. I'm just like, okay, come on, YouTube. But once you get big, you can do it. New Heights does it. They don't suffer in the algorithm. But
That's true. Yeah.
We're the little
Tony.
guys. We don't have that type of
Yeah.
nepotism.
We don't have the clout.
Well, no, it's not even. It's not. No, we're just not as good as them. That's just the truth of the matter. Maybe someday. Maybe we'll keep working on getting better.
Mm-hmm.
Surprise, Chetikowski. Well,
Is it a punter?
Yeah, Chetikowski got caught with a gallon of roofies in his trunk. So
Is that
wait,
serious?
no. Wait, was that? No, sorry. I need to. Okay, no, it was the Raiders' big fat punter that got caught
that's
with it.
Janikowski.
Okay, yep. Then it was definitely Janikowski.
A gallon?
I mean, how? Yeah, a gallon. How do you
Wow.
come back from that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it was so good for us Chiefs fans. We were like, yeah, of course it was a Raider. I mean, it's perfect.
Dirty Raiders.
I hated when he would say that with such happiness, and I didn't mind the San Diego Superchargers when he would do that. But oh God, what's his name? It starts with a B.
I've never hated the Chargers. Chris Berman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when he would say the Raiders, I'd be like, shut up. Just call them the Raiders. Like it should just be like,
hi, we're the Raiders. We like to lose games, and we're very mean.
Hey, Raiders.
And now that they're in Vegas, they're not as scary as they were before. I mean, Oakland was scary. Like I would have never gone to a game in Oakland. I would go in Vegas for sure.
I'd go, just I wouldn't wear any of my Chiefs gear.
I went to the Broncos game when Peyton threw 4 picks before halftime. We weren't supposed to win that game. We weren't good that year. It was like one of the first Andy Reid years. And we went to that game and we're wearing all our Chiefs stuff and everybody's super nice to us at the Broncos game. And the Broncos stadium was pretty cool. Like they stamped their feet and you could feel the whole stadium shake when they do that. And then when the opposing quarterback throws it incomplete, the whole crowd goes, incomplete. And it's kind of neat, right? But we were scared to death at halftime after Peyton threw 4 picks and they pulled Peyton. And then we're keeping going and we're like, oh my God, I think we might win this game. We should probably get out of here. But luckily, most of the crowd had left by the time the game was over. And everybody was actually really nice to us still. There was only one really drunk girl that was like, I can't believe you like a team from Kansas. I mean, what's in Kansas anyway? And I was like, well, actually, they're in Kansas City, Missouri. They're in the state of Missouri. And she goes, shut up.
One drunk. Why is there always one? There's always one.
She was hammered, and she was not happy with us. But I will have to say the Broncos fans were super nice. And the way their stadium is downtown, everybody walks for like a few miles to it. And it's really neat. Like how they just like, it's a huge, probably 15 people wide, just line of people walking. And you can
that would drive me nuts, man.
There's they have these carts that guys drive bikes and you could buy like a trip up, if you want to. But I just thought it was neat. Like a downtown stadium, it was neat, so.
Were there a lot of Chiefs fans there?
by the end, everything
all the Broncos
was
fans taking
yeah.
off their Broncos
They all
jersey and put on
they
Chiefs
all
gear.
left. Yeah, they had all left early, and by the end of the game, you look around, and you're like, hey,
They're all over the place.
hey. Yeah, it was pretty cool. But yeah, so what do we got here? Oh, you tried to put it in.
Yeah, Stanley said kickers will be way more important this year with the changes coming. Average landing spot will probably be at the 5 or 10, or they're going to get it at the 35. I'm seeing the average starting spot being around 30 to 40. Yeah, I mean, if they can't get it in the 5 or 10, yeah.
Well,
but I think
so
that's becoming more. I was just going to say, I think punters are getting better in general.
Well, I think he's talking about kickers because of the like. So it doesn't really have to do with punters, but I do agree with you, Stanley. It's crazy because if you go back to some of our first episodes, we talked about the new kickoff rules, and we straight up said this is not enough. They need to move it. Like they need to like it. There needs to be more of a penalty, or the people are still going to just kick it out. Like,
and that's what we saw early on. Yeah,
and we were right. And they moved it up 5 yards. I feel like they should have moved it up like 10 yards, and then everybody will try to field an actual kick. But yeah,
and that's where keeping Justin Reed would have been a benefit for this team.
Yeah, well, just because you could have an extra defender on the field.
Well, plus, I don't think he can kick it as far as butt kicker can. And do you think it's hard? Do you think it's hard for butt kicker to lay off a little bit?
I don't know. Like that's something that I wanted to like find out. Like I want kick returns to be a thing once again, because like imagine if Dante Hall lived in this day and age.
Yeah, he would be.
That would have sucked. He would have never had a name in the NFL at all. You know, and so I'm really hoping that
his
we actually can get
skills were pretty decent too. Remember that one against Denver when he went back, like he caught it at like the 5, and he went back like 2 to 3 yards deep in the end zone, and still ran it back. That's legendary kick return.
Legendary.
He's definitely he's gonna make it into our legendary series. You gotta watch 2. I gotta watch 2. We can walkie-talkie.
We can.
I've not tried that. I don't have anybody that
I do it to Mel all the time. Like she'll be doing something. I'll be like, Mel, do you read me? Over.
I know. I'm going to be on a ladder, and you're going to do that to me. And I'm going to be like, all right, turning that off.
She'll be like, Bobby, stop it. And I'm like, Mel, when you're done talking, you need to say over.
Over. I'm so over this.
Oh man, this is great. But yeah. Anybody remember what is this? Anybody remember Gus field goal kicking mule?
I swear Mom took us to see it every year at the Gold Crest, Brian said.
The Old Crest.
The Old Crest. Nope. Was that here in town?
I have no idea.
Here in Kansas City?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Gus the field kicking mule.
I do know I tried kicking my first field goal on the practice field at KU.
Remember when I had a plan to start? I was going to learn how to kick.
Yeah, I do remember that. But so
why am I not in the NFL? I can totally do this.
Do you remember the story that I told you then when I first tried to kick a field goal? We were playing a pickup game. I was 20, and I was like, I could kick a field goal. And they're like, have you ever done it? I was like, no. I was like, but I played soccer. I could probably do it. They're like, all right. So they put it on the freaking 15, sailed it right through, put it on the 20, sailed it right through, put it on the 30, sailed it right through, put it on the 35, sailed it right through, put it on the 40, and I missed finally. I was short, but I was like, how did I do that? I've never kicked a football in my life. Like it was
Catch it
just
right.
weird.
You just got to catch it right.
Yep, this is weird. All right, what do we
So,
got
no,
here? Chat
no.
here.
HD Chiefs fans, so we went to the playoffs in Houston when Niall Davis took the opening kickoff 103 yards to start, and the Chiefs were up by 30 at halftime. Texans fan disappeared for the second half. Wow, I don't remember that. When was that?
I don't remember it either.
Niall Davis.
Niall, yeah, wow. I remember the name.
Well, HD Chiefs fans been around for a minute though. Like, remember he hung out with, or he told Lamar, or he ID'd Lamar. That's what he did.
Yep.
He's like, "Excuse me, sir, who are you?" Like, I
No,
own
it
this
was
part
Clark.
of Kansas City.
Oh wait, no, it was
Lamar.
Lamar. It was.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. That was a
That's
cool
been a
little. We got some views on the TikTok clip of that too.
When did Niall Davis? I kind of remember that name now. Play.
I remember it for sure. It was like the 2000s, maybe, like the early ones.
Oh no, 2013.
Oh, okay.
Why don't I remember him? I mean, I barely. Oh, I do remember people calling him Niles. That's right. I remember on because the radio station I listen to, 810, Stephen St. John. He is my favorite DJ. Man, this guy is hilarious, and it was a pet peeve of his when people said Niles Davis. Yeah.
All right. Well,
funny. I do remember him.
Dude, we need to end the Dustin Colquitt part though. But I mean, damn, like,
yeah.
Thank you for coming back and retiring here. I'm looking at you, Tony G. And games played in the regular season, 255, 1,198 punts, 53,660 yards punting. Average yards per punt, 44.8. Longest punt, 81 yards in 2007, and still holds the Chiefs franchise record, and one Super Bowl win. Thank God we got him that before he left in Super Bowl 54. Thank
and
God.
more important for that,
I'm getting goosebumps.
Thank you for keeping up the morale. And
yeah, he was a big part of that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
absolutely.
And he lived through the Javon Belcher stuff. He lived through Scott Pioli, and he, like he lived through so many changes and regimes, and just made himself useful. And the guy just deserves. I mean, a salute's probably not the right thing, but he just deserves our hats off. I can't take my hat off because I've got headphones on. But
it's hard.
Hat off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for your time here, and we will remember you forever. And I'd love to have a beer with you if you ever check this out.
Oh yeah. Tamba, tell him to check this one out, buddy.
Yeah. Tamba, tell him we're cool and not weird.
I mean, we're weird, but
but you'll like it though. You'll like it. Promise.
It's a good weird.
I thought about jiu-jitsu with Tamba, and then I was like, no.
Oh, no way.
Not gonna do that.
That would hurt. I gotta work.
I mean, I was a brown belt in Taekwondo, but it's so Taekwondo is like the difference between, I don't even know, like I don't know, like junior boxing compared to like professional MMA. Like, it's just Taekwondo is cool, but it's not. It's like I would get destroyed.
All right, to round back real quick to the Gus, the field goal kicking mule. Brian said Gus is a Disney movie from the 70s. Oyish was the magic word. And then he said maybe 60s, and then Rerun from out of nowhere says 76, which is right about the hot spot for Rerun. Rerun. Do you remember that character, Rerun?
No, I don't.
And yeah, that he was funny. He could dance, man.
Okay.
I don't remember the name of the show, but it was funny. That was the one where Jimmy Walker said, "Dynamite."
Oh, okay. All right. Dynamite.
Yeah,
Yep,
I think
yep.
that was his brother in the show. Yeah. HD Chiefs fans said, "Come down here to Nashville and you can run into Dustin. His family and him are in a suburbs of Nashville called Mount Juliet."
Wait, hold on. I thought he still lived here. No, am I wrong?
I don't know.
I was watching Defending the Kingdom, and
He's probably got more than one house.
Holtis said he still. I bet you he does still have a house here. Then
Yeah.
I've
And
seen
then he called me out and said, "No, wrong show, Buck." Of course, it was the wrong show. I was really young at the time. What show was it then?
Brian.
What was
Every
it?
martial arts show.
I've seen every martial arts movie going back to Zatoid.
All right, Buck. What's your favorite? Just real quick tangent. What's your favorite martial arts movie of all time? Because I grew up watching them all, and then finally my parents let me take martial arts. I did it for 3.5 years, and then beat a kid up pretty bad. But it was justified. Like he had just beat up on a really this guy Chris. I won't say his last name because he still lives in Kansas City, but he was very small, and he was beating Chris up, and I came in and just whooped him, and then my parents took me out of Taekwondo.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. That was my favorite.
Really? That's your favorite?
Yeah.
Dude, my favorite, I was little. Bloodsport, dude.
Isn't that
Van Damme?
I hate Van Damme. I hate that guy.
Oh, really?
Oh my god, he's such a tool. Yeah.
Did you see it when you were a small kid though?
Yes, I did.
Like I saw it in 5th grade and I was like, dude.
I liked what's that long-haired fat guy now? That's
Steven Seagal.
Yeah, Steven Seagal. I liked Steven Seagal more, but by the time I was a teenager, I was done with him too.
What about Banana Way? Banana Way, Banana. It was what was the movie called? But it was like where they showed remember Eddie from Tekken? Like Capoeira, where they dance.
Capoeira, yeah.
I thought it was Capoeira. I think it's Capoeira. But yeah, it's where they dance around and they do like kind of break dancing and but yeah. Oh, Oldie the Strong, maybe it was called.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh man, I can't believe you did like Von Damme.
Karate Kid was pretty good too, man. The original. I mean, the original,
bro.
The original
on.
with Jackie Chan and Will Smith's son.
Oh, dude, I can't even listen to you right now. Oh my god,
I'm too old to know that's
But
that's
bro, okay,
wax off.
Karate Kid was
Wax
okay.
What? Oh, come on! He caught the fly with the chopsticks,
bro.
That's so good.
Okay, the movie was good. The karate in it was bad. Everybody but Ralph Macchio could do good karate.
Yeah.
Ralph Macchio is still doing bad karate right now.
Acting, yeah.
No, he does pretty good acting. I'll give it that. It's just like, dude, the Kung Pao Enter the Fist.
That one. Yeah. Beverly Hills Ninja. That was awesome. Oh, dude. I love Chris Farley. God, man. I owned that on VHS.
No. Kung Pao Enter the Fist.
Yeah. I didn't watch a whole lot of I didn't watch a whole lot of karate movies. It was violence, and we weren't really it's not like we weren't
I wasn't allowed
either,
but I just snuck it.
It was just my parents would rather push us to watch something else that we would like that was less violent.
God, so American Ninja 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and a half. Like, dude.
Is that with the kids?
No, American Ninja was like this, I don't know, white guy model, chiseled. I don't even know. It was just every karate thing I wanted to watch, but Karate Kid was not one that I was like, "Ooh, yeah!" I can't believe you did like Von Damme. All right, but we need to move on. We need to move on. We need to move on.
Yeah. Out of all that, you got that. I didn't like Van Damme. Yeah.
All right. All right. So let's talk about some OTAs, dude. So Rashee Rice is back and looking good, dude. Like looking really good. Not even wearing a knee brace. Like that's pretty crazy, actually. Maybe a little too ballsy, but
I am cautiously optimistic because the way he left off, if he can come back and just give us 80% of that and work back to 100, I'm super excited. But I'm super worried about re-injury.
dude, if he would have continued on the rate that he was going, he would have ended the season right below Jamari Chase and right above Justin Jefferson.
Brian, I swear to God, Brian knows a lot about pretty much everything. He's all over the place. Michael Dudikoff.
But okay, here.
Sorry.
Focus.
Sorry. Blinders.
So okay, so he would have been the second receiver in the NFL if he had kept the pace that he was on. So
Maybe.
him coming back is huge. And then I hear everybody like, "Oh, we have to see what happens with the suspension." And I keep saying, "Have you not been paying attention?"
That's not going to happen this year.
Yeah, dude, he's the court date isn't even set. Like I think we still have a few months before they can even set it because of his lawyer. It was extremely smart what they did getting the lawyer that they did, because politically, and I'm not going to state too much because I don't want to be wrong on the facts, but what I can tell you is he has a pass and none of his cases can go to court or get set for a court date until a certain time is over because he's involved in something else politically. So yeah, so like it's not going to happen this year, period. And Rashee Rice has already been doing community service. He's done a ton to help
His
negate what the penalty will be. So most likely, even when it comes down, it'll be like 2 games, and it might not. I mean, it might get just thrown out, dude. Like this is an example of when you're rich, you can make things happen better for you, but
green privilege.
It's really the truth. Like, but
at least what I like about it is he's taking that and making the very best out of the situation before all of this goes down. Whereas a lot of guys would be like, I got away with that. Hold my beer. You know what I mean? And just go crazy. So yeah, again, hats off to Rashee. I'm more worried.
Just hope he learned his lesson and grew from it. And I hope he really understands that he could have killed a lot of people and himself too. And I hope he understands the gravity of the, stupidity that he seems
to be a very intelligent young man. So it's really not about whether he understands that or not. It's really about whether he decided to take it in. Because, a lot of guys, I was hot-headed when I was young. You want to tell me something that flies in the face of what I want to do? Okay, I'm fine. I'll be good. And I'm going to do what I want. And I just got caught this time. I just won't get caught next time. And I got really lucky because I was right. But in his situation, I never got to that point either, so
Well, and I feel like he has a good support system
sure.
in the
Yeah.
KC Chiefs. I mean, we've spent the last decade really creating a great atmosphere for, helping and becoming better people. And, Patrick talked about that in his last, presser, like, getting to know the person before actually working on stuff on the field, so
And he's still young, so I mean, he's looking up to guys like Patrick Mahomes as a mentor, and he's got that, not just his support system, but his leadership, the guys he looks up to. He looks up to Andy Reid, he looks up to Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, and yeah, a lot of guys. So
yep.
yeah, as long as he takes it in with his heart, like I say, I'm more worried about his re-injury than I am about any of that at this point. No matter what his penalty ends up being or not being, I think he's learned his lesson. And as a Chiefs fan, I don't think it's going to affect us as much as we initially thought. So I'm more worried about what he's going to provide on the football field. And if he stays healthy and this line holds up the way that it's hopefully shaping up to look, this could be a great season. This could be the season we all thought we were going to get last year.
Yep. Well, and him not having a brace on is a really good sign. And we've been seeing stuff. So I think he's coming back. Talking about the whole wide receiver room. I mean, he's like, I think last year we were going to prioritize Hollywood Brown. Rashee Rice was going to be number 2. Then Hollywood
at the beginning
goes,
of the year.
Yeah, during training camp. I think that was the plan. Then, Hollywood Brown gets hurt, first game of the preseason, and then plans change. Then Rashee Rice gets hurt. Then, then Worthy has to step up, which changed his can't talk
Trajectory.
today. Trajectory. So that brings us to our next clip that I want to just throw up so you guys can get what we're going to talk about, because the plan for Worthy last year was what we talked about in preseason. He was going to be a gadget play guy and a special teamer. So let's hear what Tobe had to say.
Great battle at that punt return spot, but like I said, Rashard is a guy that's going to be in the mix. Worthy will be in the mix. Now, if you remember, Worthy, he was going to be our guy. He planned on being our guy until Rashee Rice got hurt. And that changed everything for that dynamic. He ended up being the number 1 for us last year, so we couldn't afford to have him back there. Now, I say he's the best punt returner nobody knows about right now in the league, and that's Worthy. So hopefully we get him back there too.
All right. Well, you just told everybody, so thanks for that. He's no longer the least known great punt returner.
Yeah, so
that could be fun. That'll be fun to watch.
That was a plan last year, but do we want Worthy back there returning punts? Because Worthy actually proved he was more worthy than we thought he was. And anybody that said he was going to be as good as he was last year, you're lying. Or you were just drinking the freaking Kool-Aid, because nobody thought he was going to do as well as he did last year.
He wasn't going to get the opportunity that he ended up getting. I mean, that was just blind, dumb. I don't even want to say luck, because it had to do with injuries. But I mean, he was thrust into that position and kind of had to succeed. And he didn't. I mean, he didn't just succeed right out of the box. Remember, he had that problem with getting both feet in bounds on catches.
Yep. On the outside catches, he could not get 2 feet in. But we did talk about it, and we thought, I kind of changed my tune later. It was like, well, does he want to get both feet in, or does he want to not get injured? Because I kind of like started seeing it as he was protecting himself from injury, not making those catches. But
And
I
you know
don't
what?
know.
Yeah, I remember we had this conversation when that was all going down, and I did not agree with you at all. But I think now I do agree with you. But I also think that he was probably being coached that way at that point. I mean, what are we going to do if Worthy goes out at that point? I mean, seriously, this
Well, and
season
that's
we
why
don't
they
make the Super
couldn't.
Bowl.
Yeah, and that's why they couldn't put him in on punt returns because we had lost number one and number two. Whether
Mhm.
whether you felt Rashee was number one or Hollywood was number one, regardless, we had lost number one and number two.
I think it was number one by committee at that point. I mean, that was going to be the plan. I think they were going to kind of split up and switch between one and two, and that was going to be part of what made Kansas City successful. I really do.
Yep, yep.
All right, you want to read Brian's? Do you
No,
want me
no,
to read?
no, no, no,
Nope,
no,
not
no,
yet?
no.
All right.
I want to talk about Worthy.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and yeah, the O line one we're gonna hold off because we're not even on that topic at the moment, but we'll get to it. And then the Colquitt one came in late. I don't know. We'll try to hit that one. But yeah, we don't know what Colquitt did. Unfortunately, I'll be going to a ton of training camps, so I'll be able to tell you what's going on at training camp. But I'm not allowed at OTAs, so I can't really tell you if Colquitt did any of that stuff. And I mean, I guess I could ask people, but yeah, we don't really know that one. But do you want Worthy returning punts? That's my question.
I mean, if we're just talking about ability and what he can provide to that position, it's exciting, but the risk of injury. So I'm going to say if he puts on 10 to 15 pounds, then yes.
Okay,
But
hold on. Let me stop you there then.
yeah, okay.
Or here, no, hold on. Do the rest of yours, and then
I mean, I was pretty much done.
gotta.
10 to 15 pounds will make him more durable. I don't want to see any more than 20 pounds. I think would be just a little bit too much for him. I don't want him to really lose too much speed, but I think that would make him more durable and I'd be more comfortable with it. But at his playing size for last year, that's a little bit too scary for me, injury wise.
Okay, so I heard this all last year. I thought I brought it up on the pod multiple times, but I think people saying his size and his weight means he's going to get injured more. It's ludicrous to me because I've had this thought and opinion since, I mean, way back. Dante Hall, Dexter McCluster, Tyreek Hill, all itty bitty dudes. Itty bitty dudes don't get hurt very often because when they collide with a huge dude, momentum versus momentum of the two weights, little dude pops off like a pool ball, like boom, like basically just pops off. Whereas two
Okay.
huge guys running into each other, that's like two semi trucks running into each other, and they collide and they smash together. Whereas a little guy just gets popped off. Like as long as they jump in the air, they just fly. Like,
all right, I will say I agree with you. When you've got big object, little object, they hit each other. Little object bounces off. Very little. Okay. However, that's not necessarily what we're always talking about here. Don't forget that big, enormous object has two arms, right? And he's not just hitting him to hit him. He's hitting him, grabbing him, and thrusting him down to the ground.
yeah,
A lot of those guys
if he
Right.
lands on him, that is a big deal. That's why I always say, little guys, if you notice, every time Tyreek's about to get tackled, he jumps up. Like, same with Dexter McCluster, did the same thing.
Yes.
Like, and that way he bounces off rather than, if Worthy gets tackled and crushed. Yeah, that's a big deal. But I don't think the small guys get hurt as much. And I feel it's a weird thing that fans say because they just see a small guy and think, oh, get hurt. Like, but you don't know how much calcium he took in as a child. His bones could be way stronger than somebody 350 pounds, and and they're often more limber too. I mean, so I just don't know that I agree with the whole they're going to get hurt. Like, whenever I see the small guys, I just think, oh, they're going to have to work harder in the NFL because they're not as big.
Well, that's my real only concern. Otherwise, I mean, if you don't think injury is really that big of a concern, I'm not going to sit here and argue that you're wrong. I'm just saying that is, I mean, that's my concern with him going to that position. Otherwise, I mean, we've seen him move after he catches the ball. He's got some skippity dip. I remember that one end around. I don't remember. I don't think it was his first touchdown, but it was still pretty early in the season. Anyway, he took an end around from Mahomes and squeezed between the defense.
Oh yeah,
it was slithered through.
I think it was the first game of the season.
It might have been the first game. Yeah, it was very early on, and it was so much. I mean, we saw that and we were like, "Oh, this guy's going to be special," and that's the kind of skill that a kick returner needs. So yeah, I mean, I just would hope that it doesn't take away from his position on the offense, and that's the big difference when we're talking about McCluster and Dante Hall and even Tyreek Hill. Because when Tyreek Hill was a return guy, he was playing on offense, but he was playing on offense like McCluster and like Dante Hall they were the fifth guy on the field, right?
Well,
Once Tyreek got good, he was done with returns.
No. He still returned at times at certain situations.
Yes, he did. Yep.
Which is kind of what I want for Worthy. And HC Chiefs fan does point out, what I was just about to bring up. But
he said, I get what Tobe is saying, but I really think that Nico and Smith are going to be the main two they're looking for the returning. And that's honestly, that's what I'm really hoping for. I love Nico. I absolutely love Nico. I can't believe he didn't make the 53, at the beginning of last season. Dave Tobe was fighting for him. But that's another thing that we've got to remember is that Dave Tobe can go to bat and say, Nico is our return guy this season, and he still might not make the 53.
And yeah, because he's got to, in training camp, Nico has got to show that he can do some other stuff. And he's got to show, unfortunately, that he can do the dirty work Sky Moore has been doing the last 2 years. That's what Nico has to show. And there's a whole bunch of people that don't see the dirty work.
No, I don't see the dirty
Sky
work.
does. And the only way to see it is to buy the NFL package to get all cameras, because the broadcast most of the time is not going to show it unless the broadcasters pull up that camera and say, here, this is what Sky Moore did to help this play.
That's just one of the many reasons I love Tony Romo, man. He is first. He is the first guy to talk about blocking and who the key blocker was on that play, because, the average fan doesn't, none of us see it. Even guys like us that have been watching the NFL for 20 plus years, guys like HD Chiefs fan and Brian and Stanley, like these guys watch football. They're not casual fans, right? But we don't see that play because the camera isn't facing that guy. So unless they're replaying it, but Tony Romo just brings it to everybody. I love him so much.
Yeah, well, and also anybody watching this show or other content is not a casual fan. The casual fans will be back. They'll be back checking out content when the season's going on, maybe preseason. But they'll pop in for training camp for a little bit of a taste. But anybody who is here right now, you guys are the big fans. You guys are the ones that are like us, and like that's just the truth.
That's what
Most
makes
people
this
don't.
so much fun is now I'm not just talking to, like the guys at work. They they have overheard my Chiefs conversations over and over again. Like Daniel, poor Daniel, man. He's like, "Yeah, you were talking about this 2 days ago. Can we just listen to some music, please?" But and it's great because now we have this group of people that I'm going to talk to every week that understands what I'm talking about.
This is why we
And
made the podcast, so we
knows
could
more than
we
me.
could do this, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and we're
Absolutely, yeah.
just happy people are watching now because we were talking to ourselves, in the beginning, and
People holding hands.
kumbaya, my lord. Sorry.
Oh, Brian said he's satisfied with Remigio. He's only going to get better. He's had no opportunity as yet. You cut him at your own risk.
So
I know. I really like his return ability, man. The guy's so good. But I mean, Bob is right. Absolutely right. He's got to show something. Do the dirty work. I mean, if Sky Moore is making this team over Nico Remigio, then they trust that Sky Moore is going to do more of his job. Although
Yep.
that job doesn't include catching passes because he didn't do that last year.
Well, and what's crazy is what's awesome though for what we have, like changing up the returns can make every returner better because there's less film out there, right? So we've got Noel Williams, we've got Nico Remigio, we've got what's his name, Smith, Brashard Smith. We've got we've got a Xavier Worthy. We currently have here. I'll say him last, but we have who else? Who am I missing? Who am I missing? We've got
well, there's
we have so many return guys.
Carson Steele on kickoffs.
Yeah, Carson Steele is the one I was trying to do last.
That's what I thought.
I want to update people on what Carson Steele's been doing in OTAs because I think Carson is making a move to actually really.
Before we move on to Carson, let's just Brian makes a really good point here. I was going to read that. Yeah, he said Sky hasn't been on a dozen plays in a year, but his only dirty work is the Gatorade coolers. Juju does do a lot of the on-field dirty work, and he does make some of those catches. Yeah, I mean he catches the ball sometimes, not every time, but he tends to do it in the big moments.
They need 2 or 3 of them. Like they had last year, they had Sky, Juju, and Watson, and those were the 3 dirty work guys. Yeah. Like this is what, because of my freak out last year, we didn't get to talk about our receiver room. Juju is the only dirty work guy at the moment. If we're like getting rid of Sky Moore, like I don't know that Tershawn Thornton can do that, but he's a better receiver than Sky. Like I don't know that Jalen Royals can do that. You know what I mean? Like Juju, as far as the 53-man roster we made a couple weeks ago, the receivers, Juju was the only one that I know can do dirty work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's just going to have to be something that we learn just watching through the season. I'm ready to move on from Sky Moore and give other guys a chance, though. I mean, I think dirty work is something that can be coached too. I don't think that's something that you got to be born with. It's not speed.
Yeah,
you just gotta you got to be willing to go out there and earn your spot on the team. And I think Nico's big problem with that is his size. It's a little bit harder for him to do the dirty work, is my guess.
So HT Chiefs fans offered something up here.
Yeah, speaking of the preseason, we have one home game against the Bears. Is that how you say the Bears? No, the Bears.
The Bears.
I try to say it like the Raiders. And I'll give you guys the tickets to either use yourselves or just give away. Whatever you want to do. Section 130, row 25, seats 7 and 8. That is awesome. Thank you very much, HT.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
We
I
talked about.
don't know if we should give it away or if we
Yeah,
should.
I'm not sure. Since it's a preseason game, I would actually kind of like to go. But
Same.
Man, after we went to that game during the season, I mean, it was awesome. It was a Monday night game. It was an overtime win. It was right in front of us when Hunt scored the touchdown to win the game. I mean, it was epic. It was such a great night. But we didn't. You can't take notes.
We didn't.
You don't remember all the stuff. You don't see all the stuff. You don't get any of the announcers, guy. And man, that helps a lot. It really does.
We had to do I had this in my head. We were gonna do the podcast live on the way home with my phone on. There was no way that was happening.
I knew it was a bad idea going into the game, and I even told Mel, I was like, I don't think that's a good idea, but I don't think Bob's going to think the same thing after the game. So let's just cross our fingers. And yeah, so you agreed after the game, and we actually went home, went to bed.
A preseason game, we don't need to do the episode right after the game ends. You know what I mean? Like we actually learned. We did a podcast right after the game, and we went and watched it at the Kingdom Bar and Grill over on 127th and Antioch, and that's a great place to watch it. But it wasn't a great place for us to take notes and really dive into the game, because like when we're watching it at home during commercials, we can go back and we can look at stuff, we can really
and we talk about things.
Yeah, we can really take in, but like there's people talking to you at the bars and everything else. So it's just, it's not exactly. It just wasn't. It wasn't the best for making content, which sucks because it was the best for watching the game.
It was a lot of fun,
because I always watch the games after anyhow. So just the electric, the crowd in different areas is just so good. But
But I definitely
preseason. I think we should definitely go.
Okay, like if you're down, I'm down. Let's do it.
We could do interviews, in the parking lot, get people's, thoughts on what's going to happen. It could be cool, but we'll still talk about it.
Mm-hmm. But thank you very much, HDT fan. We really appreciate it. Yeah.
So Worthy, I really want us to have like 6 returners, and teams don't know who's coming out. Is it going to be Noel? Is it going to be Smith? Is it going to be Worthy? Is it going to be Remigio? Is it going to be Carson Steele?
The only thing that scares me about that is, remember, Sky Moore got ruined because he got thrown into a position that.
No. Punt returner. Punt returner. I want to have like some stability, but
if you're talking about, you've got a guy that if they're in a rotation, so to speak, I don't know if they're going to do it per game, change the guys up per game. My guess is going to be more. You're probably going to see 3 or 4 of different guys in a game. But if you got a guy that has a bad return and then that's stuck in his head for 2 or 3 quarters, does he really get to reach his full potential? I don't know. I'm not saying that I don't think it should be that way. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just kind of playing the devil's advocate, really. I'm not going to complain. Dave Tobe has done a fantastic job with the special teams. So I have no doubt that whatever happens there is going to be great. It definitely wouldn't hurt my feelings to see Worthy do some spectacular things.
Yeah, I just want it sprinkled in. I don't want it main. But since we brought up Carson Steele, let's talk about Carson Steele, because we didn't think he was going to make the team, but he might make the team. Remember way back when, I don't remember when I said it, but I was like, dude, I feel like Carson, the way he runs and everything, it reminds me of Jeremy Shockey. And
I remember that.
And I think he might be an inch shorter than Jeremy Shockey.
I feel like he's a couple inches shorter, but that
Is he? Is he? All
I
right.
didn't.
All right.
No. I don't have knowledge there. It's just I remember
on.
watching Jeremy Shockey, and I see him, and I just feel like he's a little bit shorter.
All right. So Carson Steele is 6 foot. What was Jeremy
Wow.
Shockey? Yeah, I told you he like when I said it, we looked it up and I was like, oh, he is 6 foot. Height.
I would guess Jeremy Shockey's 6'2", 6'3", just from
How do you height?
How do I know height? I don't know.
No, I said how do you spell height?
Oh,
Jeremy Shockey's
H-E-I-G-H-T.
6'5". Damn it. Okay, well, definitely not 6. Yeah. Okay. Well, now I feel like a dippo. Some dumb
That doesn't
guy.
mean though. That doesn't mean that he doesn't have the same body type and running style that Jeremy Shockey did, though. It's
Well,
just
that's what
he
I
doesn't
saw.
have quite the reach.
But what I'm saying though is Carson Steele's been practicing with the tight ends too. So Carson Steele could definitely make a play for the team if he can be a Swiss Army knife and a jack of all trades. You know what I mean?
I almost would think that maybe they're focusing on him being more of the blocking tight end, just in case there are any more problems with the offensive line. Because I don't think the Chiefs have really focused on blocking tight ends as much since Tony Gonzalez. I think the focus has been more on the receivers.
Well, that's the whole thing I have with Noah Gray. Noah Gray is everybody keeps being like, dude, they gave him a contract, like he's gonna be our next tight end. I'm like, dude, Noah Gray is like top 3 tight end 2s. Tight end 2 is a very different role than tight end 1. He's like top 3 tight end 2. He goes to tight end 1. He's not even in the top 15.
He's going to get his lunch ate.
Yeah, he is going to get lit up. Like, guys, the only reason he caught the balls that he caught is because Travis Kelce was on the field. Like, guys,
he was the one being covered.
Yeah, do not drink this Kool-Aid. He is a fantastic tight end 2. He's literally the man tight end 2. He is not going to be tight end 1. Mark my words, he is not. It's just not going to happen, but he is a badass regardless. There's nothing wrong with tight end 2. You know, Jason Dunn was one of the best tight end 2s ever. You know, like there's nothing wrong with being tight end 2. And so, yeah, he is amazing, but he is never going to be Kelce. He is never
and
going
Kelce
to be
was in his heyday was a damn good blocking tight end as well. He really was.
Was he? I don't think Kelce was ever very good at blocking.
He was. They just didn't use him for that very often. Why would you?
Well, my whole point about Carson Steele is it seems that Andy, you thought maybe Andy was like, bro, you fumbled way too many times too fast, but it seems like Andy likes him, and Andy's trying to get him spots on different sides. Like if he could play fullback, tight end, halfback, I mean, he did play a ton of special teams. Like he could be that, you know, he could be that guy that just plays all over the place. Like I just don't know, but that I was positive he was going to be cut, but now I'm not so sure.
He could be like, remember Cordell Stewart? He was Slash. He's going to be Slash too.
All right. Well, what do we have left, Buck? Buck, I gotta go AFK for a second. Do you want to tell everybody about what happened? What happened this last weekend in Kansas City with Big Slick?
Yeah. There's so Big Slick was the charity tournament. Yeah, so
Oh.
take me off screen and put it. Yeah, Big Slick is the charity tournament that, and I don't know who organized it. It was Big Slick KC organization, but guys like Jason Sudeikis, um, oh my God, Paul Rudd, Eric Stone Street. I don't know that he was there this year. I'm not sure who was all there this year, but Paul Rudd and Jason Sudeikis, I think, are there every single year. But one year or several years, they brought out Will Ferrell. I was telling Bob last night. It was like around the 2013-14 time they came out and they went to the Royals game because it's always during the Royals season. And Paul Chen was one of the pitchers. And Paul Chen had a pretty good sense of humor. So he was out there pitching, and I think this was before the playoff push of 14-15. So there wasn't a whole lot of people there. And so they were in the dugout, and Will Ferrell comes out halfway through the game, and he just starts just heckling Paul Chen. He's like, "Come on, Chen! Chen, throw the ball! Give him some heat, Chen!" And Chen was just like cracking up on the field. But so, yeah, they come into Kansas City and they play a card game for charity, and they'll play I don't know if it's softball or just soft pitch base. I think it's softball. And I know in the past that, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce will play. They'll bring, some of the big Royals players obviously will play in the game. Some past Royals celebrities. I know, what's his name? George Brett has played in the game. So anyway, they come here and they raise a bunch of money and they have a lot of fun and some of the sports stars get to hang out with movie stars, which is, everybody's dream, right? I mean, who wouldn't want to hang out with Paul Rudd? I know I do.
Yeah. And my father-in-law knows him. I still have not got to meet him. Yep.
That's a rough one.
Yeah, it's a rough one. I could have met him after Super Bowl 54 if we lived in the area at that time, but I was stuck in donkey country at that time.
Here's some clarification. HD Chiefs fan. Paul Rudd, Jason Sudeikis, Eric Stone Street, and Ketchner. I'm not familiar with Ketchner. Are the original organizers of Big Slick, and they've been there every year. So shout out to Rudd, Sudeikis, Stone Street, Ketchner, and HD Chiefs fan for setting us straight once again.
Yep. I used to see Paul at Best Buy on 95th and like the Best Buy on 95th.
Across from Oak Park Mall. 95th
Yeah.
and Quivira. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I used to see him there all the time when I was younger. So
Really?
yeah, he used to just be in there. I never said anything to him. I was like, "Whoa, it's Paul Rudd." But then I got married later and found out my father-in-law knew him, and so yeah.
That's why you married her?
Oh, yep, definitely. That's exactly the reason. I found it out after.
Don't tell her I
married
said
her.
that. Don't say that. Don't tell her I said that, please. She's one
all
of
right.
the very few wives of my friends that like me.
All right, so Nazeeh Johnson. Supposedly, Nazeeh Johnson has been turning heads in OTAs, and I've got to get this out, dude. I am so tired of everybody talking about Jalen Watson like he's this way better corner than the other corners we have on the team. Do you remember when we started this podcast and we're in training camp and the coaches are saying, yes, McDuffie's the number one corner, but the other three corners, nobody's standing out. Nobody's really taking the job. And then now, because Jalen Watson won the job, everybody's like, Jalen Watson, he's so much better than and I'm, what are you talking about? Like, the coaches told us that they were all about the same, and Jalen Watson had a great start to the year, then got hurt, but I don't know that he's amazing compared to everybody else. Like, I really think, like, it's just weird, but yeah. Supposedly Nazeeh Johnson's looking good, but I just had to get that out because I'm listening to all this other Chiefs content and they're talking about Jalen Watson. Like, He's a legit number one corner in the NFL. And I'm like, huh? Like he
I think
barely
that's-
got the job after training camp last year.
Yeah, I love the way that Spags plays this, because if you think about, remember when running back by committee was like a new thing? You know, every team
When
had a number
Andy
one.
Reid was
Yeah.
started, like Andy
It's
Reid
'cause he
was
didn't have-
one of the people that
Yes, he was.
started that.
And it's because he didn't want to put a lot of resources into that position, and he thought he could make it work. And I mean, he did. He changed the face of football, and I kind of think
it's not just him, but yeah, he was a huge
proponent.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of how Spags likes to run that defensive backfield, is just keep guys moving around, and you never know who the main guy's going to be. And you never really know who's the best guy on the field or where he is. That's, it's just another tool.
Yeah, same with defensive tackles and the offensive ends. Everybody was talking crap on Omar Norman Lott, but it's like, dude, Spags last year, we talked about it on the show. Spags likes to rotate 8 different like linemen for his 4-person line. He likes to rotate them. Like that's what he likes to do. Like so Omar Norman Lott sounds like a great fit. And we don't know that he can't play more. You know what I mean? Like just because that's what he was playing in college doesn't mean that he couldn't do more. It just means that that's all the opportunities he had then. But yeah, as far as corners, like when we say, hey, I think McDuffie's going to play the slot, that doesn't mean that then when they're in a big package, McDuffie's going to be off of the field. It just means when they're in nickel, which is where you have 5 DBs, normally 2 safeties, 3 corners, or 3 safeties, 2 corners, and you only have 2 linebackers, 4 down linemen. That's nickel. That's what Spags plays as his base D now. Like the regular 4-3, he rarely has 3 linebackers on the field. So he plays nickel normally, unless it's definitely a heavy like run play. Thank you, Brad. Hit that like button.
Appreciate
but yeah,
that.
so McDuffie is going to be on the field regardless. It's just like when there is somebody playing the middle, McDuffie makes more sense. But we did hear Dave Merritt, who's a really good, coach. We did hear that I feel like he wants to see more from Fulton and whoever's going to be second, whether it's Jalen Watson or Nazeeh Johnson or even Noel Williams. Like he wants to see something from them before he goes to that. And we talked about this. Spags could overrule him completely, but Spags is not going to do that. Spags is going to try to find a common ground, because if he overrules his coach, Dave Merritt could be a defensive coordinator on many teams in the NFL right now. So he's not going, he's going to try to work with him to figure out the best medium. So our cornerback room, I think, is really good. Nazeeh Johnson, I don't know that he's going to break out, but it remains to be seen in training camp.
Brian said that Coach Merritt said that putting Trent inside is out of the question so far.
Oh, we played the clip. He said, well, Spags would like to have him inside, but right now he's the outside corner. And like we just said, it doesn't, like, Spags could overrule him, just like Andy Reid could overrule Nagy and everybody else. Like, so it's most likely he's trying to light a fire under, I think what they're trying to do is light a fire under the players around them, because they need to have, because the truth of the matter is McDuffie is not even close to as elite at the outside as he is at the inside. So
Yeah, his skill set just better matches that position.
yeah, and it's becoming the hardest position to play in the NFL. Like slot corner is becoming the premier position for corners because you have to think about so much compared to the outside corners, which don't have to think about a lot. You just have to be physically gifted. Also, he's a lot shorter than he probably should be for the outside. So yeah.
Yeah,
It's
we'll
just-
see what happens. I mean, they're going to come to an agreement, and until the defensive back room just completely implodes, then I'm just going to whatever they end up deciding. And I really do think that I agree with you, Bob. I think McDuffie is definitely better as a slot corner. And I think if he doesn't start there, he's going to find his way there because the other defensive backs are going to be coached by this tandem, and we've seen great things come from that room. So
Yep. And if there's only two quarters or one quarter on the field, depending on the package, I want it to be McDuffie for sure. I just think that the majority of the big plays now are most of the time from the inside slot, whether it be a tight end, like going oh my gosh, I'm blanking, going hot,
the middle?
not hot route, but when you change
slant.
pre-snap.
route?
Yeah. Well, no, when you change
When they-
pre-snap,
Audible.
not audible. It's where like a receiver just moves.
Hot route.
I don't know if it's hot route. I'm looking
I
looking
just
for
watched-
a word.
I just watched Wedding Crashers the other day. That football scene. He's like, hot route, hot route. He's like, I don't know what hot route means. He's like, just move over there.
Yeah, it's just when you move a
Motion.
receiver.
HD Chiefs fan comes up.
Motion. Thank you, HCG fan. Thank you. Yeah, like receivers, tight ends, running backs going to motion. Those are where a lot of the big plays happen now in the NFL. Not really at the X and Y receiver spots. So, and most of those, I mean, like you look at one of the best X receivers in the league on the Eagles. What's his
Brown?
name? Yeah. And dude, if you look at his routes on PFF, it's literally like 5 routes and they're all in one little spot. So, you just need a guy that's tall that can jump up and try to get the ball, with them over there. So I think moving him around is going to be big. I don't think that it's a demotion, and I just wanted to clarify that. But
yeah, and you've clarified it before, but it can't be overstated. Yeah, it's definitely not a demotion, and I don't think that's how McDuffie would be taking it. I think
no,
like
he
you said, I think. Well, he said he liked it, but they're gonna say
he looked like he
I
meant
agree.
it though, right?
He did. Yes, he did. But that doesn't mean that that's why they always say the words. Just because he said it doesn't mean he meant it. But I agree with you. I believed that he was truly excited by the way he said it.
Yeah, I think he was just as uncomfortable as Connor Connor was going to the slot as a safety. Like he'd be like,
Shamari Connor?
No. Yeah.
Okay.
Like he basically played our slot a lot this season, and he was great at safety. He really struggled there at the slot because you have to change direction so much. You have to know so much. You have so much open field. I mean, it's just yeah. So, but I'm interested to see Nazeeh Johnson's breakout here at OTAs. They're wearing shorts and helmets, guys. Like
It's a whole different.
It's like all of these little headlines are bullshit, but we're gonna have to find out what is going on during training camp, and that's gonna be where we actually can start to see people moving up. And I think Fulton has been really forgotten. So
Yeah, he kind of is getting lost in some of the news, and the media is not really talking about him a whole lot. So yeah, I'm excited to see what comes from him, because I
Yep.
was kind of expecting some good things coming from him.
well, and Spags last year didn't play hardly any press. Like we just didn't have the personnel for it, like we did the year prior with Snead, and now Fulton brings that back, and Fulton will thrive in that type of atmosphere where he did not thrive in the drop back coverage that the Chargers were doing with him. So
Yeah, didn't they change that? Like early in the year, they were doing the press a lot, and he was doing really well, and then he just kind of fell off a cliff. And I think
it was the year before. I think it was the year before that they were doing the press, but I'm not positive. But I do know
I don't
anytime
follow the Chargers.
anytime he's been playing press, he plays well. He's scrappy. So interested about that. What else do we have? I was going to take questions from the chat, but I was just making sure we got through all of our. I don't think we need to talk about the rumors. They sound dumb. Yeah, I don't like. I mean,
Breece Hall was kind of a name. I mean, it's cool to think that we could get a more dynamic running back, but I'm not even going to sit here and argue that he's more dynamic.
Well, I don't
just
even
heard
know
his name. A lot.
Yeah, I don't even
watching highlights. He had some highlights, and being on the New York Jets, I mean, that's kind of saying something.
Yeah, that's bad.
You know what I mean? But Wyatt Taylor from the Cleveland Browns, I've never heard his name.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's a lineman, so I probably wouldn't from any other team. Rumors.
See, these rumors, I bet you he's a guard. And I don't know why the national media thinks we need a guard. Just because we traded Joe Thuney doesn't mean we need a guard, doofuses. Like, it's so... Dude, there were so many mock drafts that were mocking us guards in the drafts. It's like, we have a ton of guards.
Yeah.
We need tackles.
Guard heavy. Yeah.
What are you talking about? We have a ton of people that can play guard like a monster. It's just like
a momofofo.
Yeah. Who drafts guards, weirdo? Like you draft tackles and then convert them to guards. Like, what are you talking about? All right, so
yeah, besides that,
I think that's it. We can take questions.
We can go back to that question that Brian had earlier about the O-line.
Let's go ahead and put it up.
Oh, you already got it. Night. Be honest, how comfortable are y'all with Andy Heck can get this O-line to gel before Simmons gets hurt, assuming he starts?
I don't think Simmons is going to start. I think that's crazy. I think that's Chiefs content creators hyping for clicks, and I think the national media is doing the same since they get less clicks on YouTube than YouTubers. Like, dude, how about those Chiefs gets more views than any ESPN clip or NFL clip combined about the same topic?
Okay, so I don't necessarily agree that he's not going to be ready, but I do agree I don't think he's going to start left tackle. I think they want to see what they got in Moore. But I think he'll be ready to go on day one to start playing backup across the line like you had suggested, Bob. I really do. I think
that's a great
the more I think about it, that can only help his game. It's going to give him time to kind of settle into making sure that his injury is 95% or better. And I think, maybe they'll focus more towards mid-season, or if something happens to Moore, I don't think he's going to start the year at left tackle. I don't think that's the plan at this point.
Yeah, the only thing that worries me about him is his last name. Like,
it doesn't mean they're related. They're not related because of the last name.
It does
mean
last
name
that there's more of a chance that the Moore name will cause a,
It's not like SI. It's not like being on the cover of SI. This is not a curse because he shares the same name.
I mean, it could be the new Chiefs Madden curse. Like it's the Moore curse,
Why would you even bring that out, man? You put that in the atmosphere.
Hey,
Bob,
the
put it away.
last time that you said that, I have said, dude, it's very possible we could cut Joe Tooney.
Swipe
And you're
left.
like, don't even put that in the atmosphere.
Swipe
Then
left, right.
the
And then
next
it
day we
happened.
traded him.
Swipe left, folks.
Oh man. Yeah,
But I'm not worried about Andy Heck's ability to coach O linemen. I really not. I don't think it's going to come down to whether or not he can do the job. I think it's going to come down to whether the guys are physically able to hold up. I don't think Jalen Moore even has to be spectacular to be successful this season.
Well, and there's a lot of heat on Heck about him developing tackles, but at the same time, it's not something you could just do. Like you have to find a talent to develop, and I think the left tackle problem. There's no way to know, but I think most likely falls more on the success of the Chiefs as one and Brett Veach. Like Brett Veach grabs the players. Some players aren't going to be, you know what I mean? Like they aren't going to be a prospect for that. But also Brett Veach has to deal with drafting last every round. And normally the tackles, the last good tackle we got was Eric Fisher. We got him number 1 overall. And on top of that, he played right tackle the first year and struggled hard.
Yes, I was going to say he did. That was not a quick for Eric Fisher fans out there, which I'm a huge Eric Fisher fan. It was a slow process. I think it was 3rd or 4th season before he really became like, all right, this guy's getting good.
Yep. He was the first mightily. Overall pick. You know what I mean?
There were a lot of
guys are few and far between.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know that I could put it all on Heck because Heck has done a heck of a job with the interior line. And we do play a different style of O-line play. We put our left tackle out on an island. Like for our style of play, we really need like a top 5, top 10 left tackle to make it great. But at the same time, we also need Mahomes to not hold the ball for so long because that was a big, if you look at the stats.
Well, if you want the long ball, he's got to hold on to it longer. And that was something we were missing last year.
But
majority of the year.
Well, but we talked about it though. When the long ball is not there, there should be a quick slant that you're throwing to. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can't just draw a play up that is only the long ball. You have to have
absolutely.
Oh shit! Button.
Back up. Yep. 100%. Yeah. I think Mahomes was getting so tired of that because if you remember, I was probably the loudest, and I know we didn't do this podcast back then, but Alex Smith, Mr. Checkdown, right? I mean, his number 1 receiver on every single play was his checkdown receiver. This guy, I mean, there were cartoons in Kansas City about him and I think that's still, he took over for Alex Smith. He remembers what people were saying about Alex Smith. I mean, he heard all that. He's not deaf. He listened to the radio when he was coming in. They say they don't, but they do. They want to know what's being said. And so he's afraid of being thrust into that again. Like, did Andy Reid ruin Mahomes and turn him into Alex Smith Jr.? And I don't think that that's ever going to happen, but I think that was kind of frustrating him. Like he really wanted to get some balls down the field. That's been, that was when Tyreek was ill. Tyreek was here. He could always count on Tyreek for 1 or 2 down the field every single game. And I think he misses that a little bit.
Well, and then it got too much on Tyreek, and that last season Tyreek played for us, they were forcing the ball to him.
Yeah.
And then when we traded Tyreek, I told everybody I could talk to, like, I don't know, man. Like, I was doing gaming podcasts then, but Chiefs fans would like pop in and be like, "Oh, you guys traded Tyreek," because I was always wearing Chiefs hats and stuff on the broadcast, and I was like, "Do I think we're going to be better because we traded Tyreek?" And I pointed out Mahomes' stats prior, where he threw to so many different receivers, and I turned out to be right there. But yeah, HC Chiefs fan says, "Don't put that bad juju on us, Ricky Bobby." My favorite baby Jesus is the 8-pound, 3-ounce baby Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Here, though, you want to read this one?
Yeah, HD Chiefs fan said, I'll say that they have invested more in the left tackle position this season, more than any other that I can remember. And that is 1,000% the truth. Yeah, they are trying to plug that hole.
It has been a thorn in Brett Veach's side for as long as I can remember. He definitely wants to take every precaution, you know.
I think they thought they had it last year, and I'll be honest, I was fairly convinced that Kingsley was going to be the next guy. I really was. So it was.
And
it was
he
bad
could
to
have,
see.
yeah, he could have been,
and
maybe.
he could still be. I mean, like we talked about with Eric Fisher, struggled mightily.
Well, and I was listening to what was I listening to? Oh, it was our boys at All Chiefed Up. Everybody, if you don't know about All Chiefed Up, like check them out. They are one of the best. They're
good at what they
my
do.
favorite podcast. You know, my favorite videos are Cole from How About Those Chiefs. I'll just be honest.
He's got a good editor.
They're everybody's favorite videos.
Yeah.
It's just it is what it is. But All Chiefed Up is my favorite pod, and they're great. And they were talking about, dang it, I just lost my train of thought. They were talking about what we were talking about.
Kingsley.
Yeah. And they were saying that according to, and I don't exactly remember this, but according to some of the press conferences that they heard, Andy Heck said that the decision to pull Kingsley was Andy Reid's, and it was an overpower, and Kingsley was pulled at that point. Andy Heck did not want to pull Kingsley at that point. And I'd have to go back and watch, but I didn't think he was doing that bad of a job. So I don't know, but there was inner turmoil on that front, and it sounds like Andy was just like, nope, he's out. Like, and yeah, I mean, they should have never put him in that situation. He played right tackle his entire career. Came in, it's completely opposite hands and leg move. Like, it's completely opposite position across the board. It's like if you were right-handed today and then now you try to do everything left-handed. That's what it's like going from the right to the left. So, like,
it can be done. It just takes time. And
yeah. And certain people can do it, you know, just like certain line 4-3 defensive ends can also be outside linebackers in the 3-4 pass rushers. You know, like, some people could do it, but it's not normal. It's not regular. So for them to think that they could do this, and the fact that Wanya Morris got hurt in camp didn't help, because it just basically made Kingsley the starter and there was no, you know, competition. But I do think Kingsley's going to kick ass at left guard. And I think Kingsley, not this year, but I think next year, Kingsley becomes our right tackle of the future, and Josh Simmons becomes our left tackle of the future, unless Jalen Moore looks amazing. And then Kingsley might just go, like, we still haven't signed Trent to a long Trent Smith to a long-term deal. Like, Kingsley could turn into the right guard boss, man. Like, I mean, he's a physical beast, and he's super young still. So,
Good
I don't
night,
know.
HD Chiefs fan. Thanks for watching, buddy. Appreciate it. See you next week.
Good night, sir. But yeah, I mean,
Sweet dreams.
we are looking good for the future of Patrick, and I think the whole thing that sparked that conversation was they've invested so much in the left tackle. At the same time, those left tackle prospects can really move around the board in different ways. Like, I think Brett Veach is really trying to solidify the line for Patrick Mahomes' future.
Well, yeah, the second half of his career, because we're there.
Mm-hmm.
We are there.
All right. Well, unless we have more questions from the chat, I guess we could
kind of wrap things up a little bit.
we can kind of wrap things up.
This would be the first show under 2 hours in almost 2 months.
Yeah. What do you think about the possibility of the Chiefs moving?
Oh, over to the Kansas side? I mean, they're not going to move out of the Kansas City metro area. I'm not concerned about that at all. I mean, that
Yep.
would absolutely kill their momentum. Kill it. So I don't care. I would love to see Arrowhead revamped and built up. I know that I don't know, but it seems pretty obvious at this point. I know you hate that word, but the Royals are almost certainly moving.
Yeah, but the Royals could go to Nashville.
Okay.
That is an option.
That would suck. That would suck too.
But-
I'd love to see the Royals here, but the Chiefs are more important to me.
I talked to somebody yesterday who is in the know. If you know about me, you probably know who I talked to. But it's somebody who's in the know who actually has a vote in what's going to happen. But Kansas City is really pushing for the Royals to have a downtown stadium.
Yes,
now, if
that's
the
a big thing.
Royals if that happens, the Chiefs are kind of waiting to see what happens. If the Royals take the downtown stadium, and there's also the Sprint Center right down the
Yes,
street
there's
from
some-
my house. There's talk of that.
That'd be
Like,
weird, but it could.
It'd be
could
weird.
Work. It could work.
It could work as long as everybody around there is okay with it. But it could definitely work. It's definitely enough space. But yeah, so if the Royals take the downtown stadium, which I so hope they do, dude, because a downtown stadium is so cool. It's so freaking cool. Like, I went to Seattle, went to a game, and then everybody leaves, and it's so cool. Like, I would love that. But if they do that, there's a much bigger chance that the Chiefs stay right where they're at.
Then they would have the whole.
I want them to keep Arrowhead. I want them to keep Arrowhead and put a rolling roof on it. That's what I want them to do. Just like Jackson County, you guys are dumb for not voting the rolling roof 15 years ago. We would have already had a Super Bowl in Kansas City if you had done that. I hate you for not doing that.
Oh, man. Yeah. But the problem is, I don't think that Jackson County has learned their lesson. I really don't. To them, I think it's all about dollars. And if they got to pay for any of it, they can't see the forest through the trees.
I
look,
was
if they
so
screw
mad
it up,
when the rolling roof did not get voted in 15 years ago, and it
still
should
can happen.
have.
Even if Jackson County loses the Chiefs and the Chiefs move over to the Kansas side or somewhere else on the Missouri side, I guess that's an option too.
If they move to the Kansas side, they'll build a dome and it'll have a retractable roof. But
we could have near as long to get to the games for us. So
yeah. I mean, any of the spots are good for us. We're at Overland Park, so
in the heart of it.
Yep, we're in the good old OP, the best city in the KC metro area.
So I don't really. I mean, to answer your question, I don't care. I really don't care. Are the Chiefs going to move? I don't care, because the
as long
only
as they
reason,
don't move out of the KC metro area,
and that's not happening. There's no chance that that's happening right now. Maybe after Mahomes retires, if we go through a down period again, it might get scary then. But as long as this is happening, there is no chance the Chiefs are going to allow that to happen. Not a chance. There's not enough money in any other city. They could be offered a free stadium and everything is taken care of by the city. They're not dumb enough to make that move.
Yeah,
So,
you would be crazy. We have a 40-year history of selling out games where the team sucks.
yeah.
So,
and this is the best team that we've had since Len Dawson, and probably better than that team as well. So, yeah, there's no chance that that's happening. So I don't care. I would love to see Arrowhead revamped. I would love it. I would love to see him in Overland Park. I would love it. It wouldn't bother me to see them up in the Legends area.
So the Royals aren't going to go to the Sprint Center, but I was like, are the Royals are the ones that have thought about the Sprint Center. I was like, dude,
well, they bought it.
If the Chiefs came there, I'd be like,
so
I could take a bird from my house like that.
Yeah.
Like, and there'd be birds everywhere. If they
would. Yep.
put a stadium there. I was like, I could just ride a little scooter to the game.
Yep.
I mean,
it's almost directly between our houses.
Yeah.
I mean, we could take a bird and meet there.
Like, I'm there every day at Edwin Watts. Well, not every day, but I'm there. Like, that's the mecca for all the golf stores in Overland Park. Like, literally, there's 5 of them there, and they're not anywhere else. It's the weirdest thing. But this is going to be our last question. We're going to end.
Brian is asking, is the pass rush going to be lethal enough to mask the DBs? I don't think the DBs need masking.
I think the DB room is
pretty legit
compared to last year.
But is the pass rush going to be good? I think the pass rush is going to be better than it was last year. I really do, because I think Amenahue, as long as he stays healthy, he's looking to prove himself. He's looking to prove that he deserves a big time deal. And who doesn't love winning? Who doesn't love being on that kind of team? I mean, it's aggressive and it's hardcore. I think the pass rush will be better, but I don't think it is to mask the DBs. But it's still a really good question, though.
Yeah, I think the pass rush has improved from last year. Omar Norman Lott, he had unbelievable stats in college. Yes, he didn't play much, but he might not play much here. He might just be in on passing downs. Like Giolotti's going to be coachable, and he has a motor. He only has the bull rush move at the moment, but I guarantee he is going to be teaming up with George Karlaftis and Tamba, learning jiu-jitsu. I guarantee he is going to do that.
Yeah.
FAU did it a little bit, and from what it sounds like, did not continue the process, but I guarantee Giolotti's going to, from what I've seen from his personality. And FAU was coming up at the very end of this season. He might have actually finally figured it out. And if he has an upward trajectory, oh my gosh. And then just like Buck said, Amenahue, I mean, we said it way back when he was hurt. As we said it for weeks leading up to him coming back. Even if he doesn't have numbers, our defensive line is going to look better. We were right. We were right,
yes.
right. Period.
Right away.
Yeah. I mean, it literally sparked George immediately.
Yes.
And so he is a power. And if he's actually at full speed, we're going to look good. Like, the only thing that kind of worries me is the running game, if I'm being honest. And that's going to be big on Bolton and Tranquil, to stop, because we have a lot of pass rushers, but we didn't bring back a whole lot of run stoppers.
That's going to be on McDuffie too, if he's playing in the slot. And that actually excites me, because I think that he's going to be able to help there too. I really do.
Yep. Very good point. But yeah, I'm not worried about the pass rush at all this time around. I'm worried about the run stop now, whereas last year I was worried about the pass rush, not worried about the run stop at all. So that's kind of where I am there.
Which is, I think it's a better place to be because the league is in a pass era. Like this is a big wide receiver quarterback era right now. They're airing it out like they have never before. So I'd prefer to have a team that's strong with the pass rush as opposed to the run stop.
Yeah, I mean, like we were the best, like probably the best run stopping team last year. I mean, that helped us for what? 4 games? Like like the early games, and then we get to all the teams that don't have a crazy good running back, and then it's like crap. They just have forever to throw the ball. So, yep. Brian, you got some more questions, but we are at time tonight, sir.
He's trying to stretch it out. Well,
Yeah,
he got us over
tried.
2 hours. He got us over 2 hours. Look at you,
Definitely
Brian.
did. Definitely did.
Well, we can always count on you for some great conversation, buddy. Appreciate
Yep.
it.
Love you. Thank you to everybody who hung out with us. It looks like I accidentally streamed to my personal X. And thank you guys for everybody tuning in on my, like, we've had like 20 people tune in on that one. So thank you guys. That's not, I normally do it to the other X account because
yeah, that's weird. I just noticed that.
yeah, I just did it to the wrong one.
Your Facebook too?
No, it looks like, but we didn't have anybody show up for Facebook today.
Yeah.
It says it's going, but yeah, it's weird.
We're usually pretty light on Facebook. We get
All right, well,
we'll take it where we can get it.
Buck, where can we find you?
As always, you can go to buckandbob.com. That's BUKNBOB.com. You can find all our merchandise and our videos there. You can find me on X at Bucktastic. That's BUK_TASTIK. And you can also find me at Buck and Bob on Facebook.
And you could find me on X at Blazin_Bob. That's BLAZZIN_BOB. Oh, this is a good episode. Felt good. We didn't talk about, we didn't talk about really anything that matters, but it was fun.
Yeah, we did. We talked about the Chiefs for 2 hours.
I'm just
the greatest
saying,
part of my week.
I'm keeping it real, guys. Like, so much is going to change during training camp.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
Most of the people are filling you full of like, yeah, they're just. But we try to keep it real here. We try to, we try to make it entertaining, and you guys make it for us. Thank you, Brian Parrott. Thank you, HD Chiefs fan.
Stanley Moody.
Yep, Stanley Moody. Who else?
Rerun.
Yep. Thank you guys so much for being involved in the conversation. The chat really makes it so good. So
it helps a lot,
guys. We're trying to grow. We're hoping, all Chiefed Up is going for 50K subs. We're going for 5K. Help
5K
us out.
push.
Yep. Help us out. Let's do it this year.
I'll tell you what, if we get to 5K before that preseason game, then we'll give those preseason tickets away.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I like it. All right.
Big push, but we can do it with your guys' help.
All right. Well, good night from the home of the Chiefs.